Hey guys, as you may know, I'm Zachary Perkins, and I know that I've been away for a long time, but I've been working on a lot of really cool and exciting things.
And thank you for always being here.
You know what? So yes, hopefully. And so the point of this show is to share those really cool and exciting things. So I have a 3-part documentary series directed by my friend Kenzie, and we're gonna really show you guys all of what I've been up to this summer. It's been a lot. Speak on it, and I can't wait to take you guys on the journey. And I've really become acclimated with this apartment because I have been here for the past 2 weeks and counting due to having COVID. And so that has really kind of put me a bit back. I really love it, and I feel like Austin is where I'm supposed to be. I can't wait to see what memories I make in the city. So I am someone who has really bad memory. I always have, and I probably always will. I cannot remember what happened 5 minutes ago, let alone what happened when I was 5 years old. So in order to complete, the earlier chapters of my book, I need to reach out to my parents and, just get a context of what life was back in those days. So first off, I'm going to call my mom, and my mom is like one of my best friends. We have a very open relationship, and we talk about anything. So I'm really hoping that, she feels the freedom to be as candid as she can be with some of the things that I want to talk to her about today. Hello, Mother. How are you?
Hey. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, just sitting here. I'm getting ready to write this chapter of my book, or these chapters, I should say, more so about like my earlier days in life. And my memory just, of course, it's always been bad, but it's of course not going to go back as many years as it needs to go back for this. So I needed to call and, just paint the picture so I can know what is the world I came into from your perspective. Right.
Yeah.
And so how would you characterize me as a child, like especially the years right before going to school?
Were you in school?
Yes.
You were a little badass. You were always smart. Like, you were always a smart little boy. You were always, like, more advanced, I guess, than some of the other little children.
Speak on it.
I knew you were always ready to go to school, but you were very mischievous sometimes, getting into stuff that you shouldn't have been getting into.
I was bored. I was always bored.
Okay, well, bored, you say bored, I say that as hell.
We can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree. We can go back and forth on that one.
Now, Grandma Hazel told me one time that they offered to have me skip pre-K, but you guys declined that. Is that true?
That's correct.
Why did you guys decline that?
Well, I just felt like you needed to have at least some introduction into the education, because this is like pre-K is like the first time you were ever in school.
Right.
So, and sending your little baby to school, it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to send him to school have already experienced at least 1 year.
True.
So, I mean, in my head, it was just kind of like,
But I mean, you guys like worked at, daycares and stuff, so I was always around kids,
Correct, you were. Yeah.
What was I going to say? I was going to ask a question. Okay, but then, you remember I would be a very angry child sometimes. Because I think I got picked on a lot at school. And then I think your other 3 children would often try to gang up on me. And so that created a lot of internal, anger in me.
Okay.
And,
I don't remember this, but okay.
I mean, do you remember the incident I had in 2nd grade?
Oh, no. I mean, I think you meant with your sisters. I mean,
Oh, no, I mean,
to
wasn't.
me, that was just sibling, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm on the same page with you now.
Okay.
I get it.
How do you think that you were able to navigate those things?
I mean, I just think that, just explaining to you, I mean, because children are, some children are cruel. I mean, it's like children just say whatever comes to their head without thinking, and there's no excuse for it, but that's just kids, it's just like, they just say stuff, and so just reminding you that, okay, I mean, just because somebody said something doesn't make it true.
Right.
I mean, just because, you have to know, I mean, of course, in 2nd grade, you are not going to know your words. You're not going to know any of those things. You're just hearing me say words, but it's still hurting your feelings. So it's just like, just explaining that, just because someone says something doesn't make it true. You'll be fine, you're going to meet other friends. You don't have to talk to those people that are being mean to you. Just like reassuring you that it's just going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. One thing I like, because I'm of course going to call Daddy in a minute and get his, his side of the story. And I feel like there are a lot of things, though, that, we've never had, actual conversations about, he and I, And so I really do want to get his perspective and his point of view. But I just remember there would be times I think after Grandma Hazel passed away, it shifted the dynamics of us as a family a lot. And I don't think that in some aspects it was very hard for certain things to be recovered from that loss. And I just remember there was times I would be scared, and it was right after you told me about Daddy not being my biological dad. And I think one time you told me y'all arguing or something, and I would just always be scared that if y'all weren't together, that I would lose that relationship, No, I know that now, but just as a kid, yeah. And so I think I spent a lot of times I don't even know if either of y'all know this, but I felt like I was doing a lot of things to just try to keep everybody as harmonious as I could.
Didn't know that.
I think it goes back to the notion that kids definitely know more than they get credit for knowing and things like that. And so I think I definitely knew when y'all were arguing and things like that, and I never wanted the girls to hear it. So I would
Well, I mean, it's when you lose. I mean, I've never lost a parent, so that's a whole different topic. I mean, that's something that you can't. It's just. It's very hard and very challenging.
Yeah.
So I don't think and nothing had, us arguing had nothing to do with anybody but us. So,
No, I mean, I realized that, and I think that was like part of the whole reason I had the conversation like I had with you last summer. And I was like, I hope that at this point in y'all's lives, y'all are like, whatever y'all want to do, that y'all are doing things for yourselves. I think that y'all had to give up a lot of your not your young years, because y'all are still very young, but you know, y'all had to be caretakers for so many people, and you have to play so many different roles for other people. And I think it's great now that we're like all older and we can be more independent. And I hope that everything y'all are doing is what y'all want to do at this point in your lives, and not the things you feel like you have to do. But that is about all I really need. If there's anything else while I'm writing, I of course will give you a ring. But that was like the summarization of what I needed from you.
alright. Well, I have to, you have to let me know how this goes with your dad. I'm sure it's gonna be hilarious.
No, it will definitely be a colorful interview for sure. Now I'm about to call my dad, and my dad is a very colorful character, and I know that he will have, I don't know, he's very unpredictable, so who knows what's about to come out of his mouth. But I do appreciate my dad's unfiltered commentary, and I know that he's always coming from a genuine place, and he's never going to sugarcoat anything, which is great because I need that for the book at this point.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Dad? What you doing?
No, sitting outside waiting on this pizza.
Hey, you think you was gonna answer the phone? I know you don't have no problem putting your phone down, just going off without me. But I am sitting here and I'm getting ready to write these chapters from like the earlier days of my life for the book, and I just got off the phone with Mama, so I was calling you to get your POV on a few things, because I was telling her I feel like me and you have never really talked about a lot of things, like I've never known your perspective, so I definitely want to put that in so that it like makes sense of like where I came from, things like that. So you and Mama met while she was pregnant, right?
No, we met when I was down in jail court. She wasn't pregnant. She wasn't pregnant with you yet.
But y'all were just friends before.
Yeah, we met at church because I was going. Of course, I was down there at jail court, and I met her because I had started going to Greater Bethel. That's how me and your mama met.
Oh, okay. And I think my last question is, how would you characterize me as a kid?
As a kid, as a normal kid, normal little boy. A normal little boy,
Well, all right. That is all I needed. Thank you for your time. And of course, as I start to write stuff, I'll send y'all chapters and let y'all read stuff, because I'm not trying to tell nobody else's story, but we all involved in each other's lives, so gotta tell a little bit of yours to tell mine.
Alright, cool, bro.
Alright, I'll talk to you later.
Alright, man.
Alright, love you.
Love you too.
Lord. They always say there's three sides to every story. And I think after talking to my dad, because there's a lot of things that I discussed with him on the phone that we had never really talked about. And it really does kind of cloud the way I perceive things, the way my parents probably perceive things, and then that gray area of what reality actually was. So I'll have to go and really chop up their versions and their perspectives to mesh it together to be one cohesive story. So I'm having a few friends over today just for, some light brunch, some drinks. And I might have a special surprise for my friends today, but it's just really going to be good to see people again because, like I said, I've been cooped up in my room for 2 weeks and I'm just itching for human interaction again.
Oh man.
I mean, you made it.
So it's Virgo season. This is a good time to make some goals. That's what I did this week.
Okay.
Do y'all have any for the next month or so? I feel like we're entering into a new season.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what are your goals?
Well, I just finished my LSAT test.
Congratulations.
That was studying for all summer, so I'm waiting to get the results back for that. But yeah, I'm just gonna start looking into law schools and trying to save some money.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
What
about y'all?
I'm really trying to get into a different department at my job because I've been at the department that I'm in. I've been there for like a year now.
Mm-hmm.
I think my time there has expired. It's time to do something else.
Up.
So I'm in the process of like getting into that department. I kind of already have my foot in the door, and they're like requesting me from the department that I'm from, but I need them to open me a position so that I can be a part of that department.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Ask
you
and
will
you shall receive.
Okay. Speaking into existence.
yes.
Absolutely.
So I just started working this new job. So for me, I'm trying to find a work and a social life balance because I'm very much like go to work, come home, go to bed.
Yes.
So I'm definitely,
Yeah.
especially like with my music, I'm trying like how can I do shows and like just go out and take pictures for content for social media if I'm tired.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely just trying to come up with like a routine and like really like
Yeah.
stick to it and get into it. But I feel like that's what's gonna help me like balance everything out.
Yeah.
Just having a strict routine. So
But
that's what I'm
your
doing.
TikTok is doing well. I follow you on TikTok. I liked your video before you got here.
Yeah, I need to like be on a lot more consistent than what I actually am doing. That is like the key to social media is being
Yes.
consistent. So that's what I'm also working on, trying to be consistently posting, especially on TikTok, because I feel like that's like
It's so
Right
easy to
now,
go viral.
that's where to be
yeah, that's the app to be
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So
I
y'all go
think
see me
so.
on there a lot.
It's also the most addicting app.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can be on
you
there
get
for
lost.
hours.
Okay, yeah, and everything is like tailored to you, and it's very
Yeah.
scary. But I'm like, it's very
It's so
comforting
accurate.
also.
It's so
accurate.
It literally, it sent me a video the other day. I say it sent me. It was just on my DL, and it was like describing my very specific childhood trauma, and I was like, bitch,
How dare you?
Stop reading me.
it's a Tuesday afternoon. Like,
I did not come here for
please
this.
stop it.
So Zach, what are your goals?
I mean, I feel like I relate to a lot of the things you guys said. It feels like this is such a season for like change and growth, and I feel like we're all starting new chapters of life, and that's really exciting. But I think my goal is like immediately to finish the book. Like I don't have that much left. I kind of do, but I really want to finish that like as soon as possible. And
So you do have some done?
I do have some done.
Oh, don't tell me that. 'Cause
I have-
Okay.
I have. You might get to hear a little bit today.
Really?
I might pull
Mine
it out
or
of
we
the
will.
cut.
Mine or we will.
We want to.
Well, then let's
Yes,
do it.
we do want to.
But I think like definitely like since I was sick and was locked up, I had a lot of time to think. Like I was having
Yeah.
an existential crisis like every damn day of the week.
I get it. I
But
bet.
now I just want to live. Like I want to travel. So that's the goal for sure, is to get out here and travel a little bit before the year's over. And yeah.
Good things
That's
coming.
Yes.
Good things. Cheers to good things coming.
Yes.
And to hearing this stuff.
It feels like the end of an era. Like
Oh, that's
done
good.
school, I moved, like, and it just feels like the final piece of like letting this stuff go, like
Yeah.
for real. So I'm excited in that regard to put the book out and just kind of like literally release it, like
Yeah.
just let it go.
Yeah, it's kind of a way to like process everything that has happened
Mhm.
Free
and put it
therapy.
out.
It's probably been therapeutic to put it on paper too, right?
It really has,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to read it because I mean you were close, but like for me to really get to know you,
Yes.
like things that you've been through, like it's especially because I know like your personality and like how amazing you are. So it's really just going to show me why you're so amazing.
Exactly. Because you don't get like that for nothing.
Mhm.
You don't become like a super, I feel like, extraordinary person.
Oh, thank you.
Without extraordinary things, good or bad.
Yeah.
Without a little drop of childhood trauma.
You know, but I
It's
hope
like-
I really hope everyone is like kind of inspired to tell their story. Maybe not write a book, but like tell their story, because we all have a story. We all have things that we've been through, and a lot of our experiences are universal. And I think that is something that hopefully people find solace in when they read the book.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. Okay.
Well,
you want to hear it?
So.
All right, well, let's go over here and I will give you guys.
I love it.
excerpt.
I'm excited. Let's go.
I could actually shit myself right now. Like, why did I agree to share this with them? I should have just waited until the book was out. I feel an immense amount of nerves and anxiety. Just because I'm a little protective of my work and what I've been doing, and if they don't like it, then I'm just gonna want to leave. And that's not, the appropriate thing to do. Like, this is my house, I can't just leave. I invited everybody here. Or they could really love it, and then that will also put pressure on me to make sure that what I continue to do lives up to the expectations. So, all right, y'all, I'm very nervous, like I could throw up right now.
Oh.
But we're gonna get through it. Okay.
You got it.
Let me take a little
I'm
sip
so
of my
excited.
beverage.
Right? I'm like over here shaking. I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
Cheers. It's gonna be good. I can't wait.
Cheers. Okay. Robert was working until midnight and was sad that we weren't going to get to work our whole shift together. "You should switch with someone and stay to close with me tonight," said Robert with his big, beautiful hazel eyes staring at me with hope and his lips turned into a pout. It was a face I couldn't say no to. Believe me, I tried. I was down to find someone to switch shifts with, but the next problem was that I had already told my parents I was getting off at the time I was originally scheduled to leave at. And for those of you who don't have black parents, you would never understand the struggle we face in getting them to agree to not only drop us off, but pick us up places, especially so late at night. Robert solved that problem for me when he offered to take me home after our shifts were over. So I called my parents and told them that they didn't have to come and get me that night, and although they didn't say anything, I could tell they were relieved that I found a ride regardless of the time of my shift was ending. A slower night than normal at the store really allowed me to connect with Robert on a much deeper level, and somehow the topic of sexuality came up. More specifically, I was asking him how he was able to navigate exploring his sexuality in a black household, and when or how did he know he was gay. We were the last two employees working that night, and our manager was cleaning and doing admin paperwork all night long, so it really was perfect because it already felt like he and I existed in our own world most of the time, and it was sort of a reality that night. As the conversation progressed, I realized there would never be a more opportune moment to make my move. I'd like to experiment a bit more and get a better understanding of my sexuality, but I don't have anyone to try things with, I said coyly, as if I suddenly wasn't aware of who was in front of me. "I'm literally standing right here. What do you mean?" he responded, and I could see he was a bit hurt that I hadn't considered him, as far as he knew anyways. But he didn't need to know that he was the only one I was even remotely fixated on in that moment. I just didn't want to mess up our working relationship, especially if everyone was paying such a close attention to us already as it was. They would certainly know something was up if things went wrong, but he used that as a justification as to why we should give things a try. "You know they already think we're dating, so we might as well give them something to talk about," Robert added with a chuckle. Then Robert told me he thought I was cute and that he knew this moment would eventually become a reality. I went into the situation shooting my shot, and then something shifted and I found myself, the shooter, being shot at. I was the last cashier on shift and he was the last bagger, so our manager decided to relieve us at the same time to take our last break. We already had a full itinerary for this break though. We went out to Robert's car that was parked on the side of the building, going out of the store from separate exits to be as inconspicuous as possible. I was in front of him and he unlocked the car to let me know which one was his, and I sat down in the passenger seat before he even reached the car. He got in and put on a little playlist that I'm 93% sure was his whole playlist, but I didn't care because the songs were slapping and we were finally, truly all alone. We were having a great conversation with one another, and then we found ourselves looking into each other's eyes, and the next thing I know, we were making out in the parking lot of my job.
I had a whole visual.
Oh
like,
my God.
I visualized.
I'm
like,
sitting in the parking lot.
Are you gonna end it there?
That is where the excerpt ends,
Wow.
girls.
No, cliffhanger. Okay.
Yeah, but it gets.
Are you serious? You're really not gonna?
It gets very juicy after that, but that is all I'm gonna give you with today.
Are we gonna get an audiobook?
I somebody said
Your
that to
presentation
me.
with the
Yeah. Somebody said
genuinely.
they want an audio book, and I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see if that's what the people want. Then
That's some little
who
corn.
am I to rob the people of what they
Wow.
want?
I really can't wait to read it.
No, like that was great.
That was
Thank you.
Like
genuine day vibes. Genuine day vibes. No, so good.
well written.
I can't believe
Thank you.
so well written.
Thank you guys.
The details, I was picturing it. You didn't even
No,
tell me
I'm
where you
saying.
worked in the job in the story, and I was like picturing
Yeah.
all of it.
Well, thank
Wow.
you guys.
I don't even know what job you were at. I'm literally sitting in San Marcos in the HEB parking lot in a car.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally like, it's dark. I'm like, radio
It was a lot earlier in life. This was my high school days. So you have to.
Okay.
I'm feeling it.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness! I literally can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it's. You know what? They really could have hated it and told me that, and I would have been fine. But I'm really glad that they like it. I'm glad that they were very genuine and honest with their reactions, because I needed something to gauge where I was and the work and the improvements that I needed to make going forward. So I'm glad that I have feedback, just in general, and just to hear that they're excited for more really just excites me to put my book out even more. The past few months have been a very intense journey, but I really feel like this era of my life has come to a close, and this book is just the perfect way to officially end it and to start anew. And I don't know what the future holds and what tomorrow brings, but I'm really excited about it. And one thing that has been reinforced to me over the last couple months is I'm really lucky and blessed to have the friends and the family that I do, because they've really gotten me through all of my moments. And so I can't wait to hopefully captivate and help somebody with my book. That's all I want to do is, let somebody know you're not alone, and, relating on these shared universal experiences. So I hope that you guys will buy my book. Thank you guys for coming on this wild ride with me. It's been the honor of my life. How Much Time Do You Have will be available April 12th via Amazon and other exciting retailers, to be announced at a later date. Make sure you follow me on social media at Exact Change and How Much Time Book to stay up to date with excerpts, links to pre-orders, and to find out when the book will be available near you.